Okay, an obvious statement. When it comes down to experts, many people seem to agree that certain people are experts, certain people are valid, just because they happen to have some kind of qualification or experience in the way, in lieu of qualification very often. And it's all very easy to pull out hey, we've got a person who's a medical doctor, we've got a person here with some form of PhD in something, maybe not medicine, maybe something else, and we're going to have them talk about a complicated subject using a stock argument which is expressed in a very clever way, or at least sufficiently persuasive. And that must prove our point. Well, you can find people with a background in education, they've got qualifications, perhaps accredited or otherwise, who are supporting the flat earth, the hollow earth, the concept of young earth creationism, old earth creationism, special creation, new age concepts and ideas, angel therapy, Reiki, spiritual healing, all sorts of methods and ideas regarding spiritualism, people who are mediums, and oh, this person is a medium, they also used to be a doctor, or this person used to be a nurse, this person used to be involved in university work, they in fact worked in sociology or psychiatry or whatever the case may be. You can find these people. You can find these people, just as you can find people within the realm of ghost hunting, demonology, people who claim to be exorcists, they can remove demons from people. You can find people who have education in their background. You can find people who are lawyers, doctors, people who are, I would say, very good at what they do, if indeed their qualifications are genuine. At least they were at some point. But either at that point, so, they received their qualification, maybe before, but it didn't prove to be sufficiently distracting, or perhaps later on when distractions came in, religious ideas, spiritual ideas, mystical ideas, depending on the subject matter, they went off subject. They went away from their strength in knowledge, and they ended up becoming a person who, well, uses their educational background perhaps as a way of promoting their ideas. Look how educated this individual is. And it's like, yeah, but they're talking shit. But they're talking very well. And, they've got a background in this, background in that. This person, that's a trick as well. A background in. No, I didn't receive a formal qualification, but I have a background in insert subject here. So, you're a dropout? You may have gone to university, but you didn't walk away with any form of qualification, any form of degree. You may have done this, you may have done that, you may have done the other. You may have simply read a bunch of books and written your own, and now you consider yourself to be an expert because you've written about the subject without too many critics pointing out your errors, if there are indeed any errors. And with your more recent stuff, it's like, yes, I'm an expert. Put me onto the History Channel, why don't you? Happens a lot. And unfortunately, many people don't spot it. They go, this person says this person says that. I saw a documentary to do this, a documentary to do with that. And unfortunately, many people are drawn in and believe everything that's said. But then you look into it and it's like, well, actually, no. A so-called artifact was fake. You don't hear about the fakes, you hear about the positive documentary regarding a particular thing, or a claim made like this perfectly smooth carved wall, which was done by ancient peoples. What was the cause of it? Was it humans? Okay, is it perfectly smooth? Well, that's a bit rough, that isn't so good. You find mistakes, you find errors. A creationist documentary, or a documentary trying to prove the flood of Noah, the Great Flood. They come across a piece of ancient wood, and it was a mock-up made by a skeptic. A piece of wood that was made to look incredibly old. It was aged using, amongst other things, teriyaki sauce. That's a famous case, you could probably look that up. And they used it as evidence in the documentary. Yes, you can have pieces of wood that survive from that far back. Yes, you could have this, you could have that. You end up with things being debunked over and over and over. But people still buy into it. And new documentaries come out, new pieces come out. And even where it isn't documentary channels or channels of any other kind producing documentaries, production companies you end up with propaganda mills for various religious and spiritual organisations, and conspiracy theory organisations in the modern day as well, for that matter, pumping out all sorts of nonsense with the claims that this is true, we have the experts. Here we have Dr. Jean, or Dr. this, or Dr. that, or we have Dr. Smith, Mr. Griffin, who's going to talk about a subject he is not qualified in. And those people with actual letters before their name, or before and after their name, at least in some cases. You could end up with people who supposedly are experts, and they are in their area. You're a dentist, okay, and you're going to talk about explosives used in the buildings during 9/11. I think it's out of your subject area. Can you confirm all the information? That's the important thing, isn't it? Expert or not, PhD or no. Do they have a degree at all? And in what? You know, that's important to ask. But the information they bring forward, regardless, is it valid? Have they understood it? Are they providing parts of it, the most compelling parts, and therefore, along with some of the persuasive arguments, it is a matter more of rhetoric, more of, coercion, or perhaps even deception, rather than actually expressing what is true